Hey guys, I'm Georgie.
And I'm ChellBee. Welcome back to Georgie and ChellBee TV. So today we're doing something a little bit different, and we're talking about like black-owned businesses and just kind of having like a general conversation about not necessarily what it feels like to be a black-owned business, but kind of like the stigmatisms attached to it.
Yes.
Very much so. And then I've kind of seen this conversation happen like on Twitter some, and I also seen it on social media some, about some people have some different opinions. One of the opinions that I seen that kind of shocked me was that someone said it was kind of offensive, like if you did not label yourself as a black-owned business, or if you didn't use, if you were a black business owner and you didn't necessarily kind of shout to the mountaintops that you had a black-owned business, that they felt that that was offensive. So we're just kind of talking through that whole conversation.
Okay. Yeah, so what was one of the first points you wanted to touch on?
I would say for me, I just thought, like, are we limiting ourselves by calling ourselves a black-owned business? Not saying that people are going to go the other direction if you say like you have a black-owned business, but do you really need to label yourself a black-owned business just because you're a black business owner?
Right. I know personally for me, I will not be labeling myself as a black-owned business just because, even though I am black, my business is for everyone, and so I don't want anybody to think that it's just for, you know, blacks only. I feel like when you kind of limit yourself to a certain race or a certain group, that you're unable to see other things for yourself and other things for your business. So I try not to label myself as anything. I don't even recognize it as a black-owned business. It's just a business.
And I think, see, along that lines, I agree with that whole thought process. Like, I don't feel like you need to label yourself a black-owned business just because you're a black business owner. Now, I understand if what you're selling, if your services are for black people, then definitely, you know, it makes sense to label yourself as a black business owner in a black business. You know, if I was selling natural hair products for black women, right, or if I was a blogger that only talked about natural hair, then most definitely I would make that a part of my business. But what I talk about is universal. It has nothing to do with my skin color, so I don't feel the need to label myself a black-owned business or to say that I'm a black business owner. Obviously, I'm a black business owner. You can look at me and tell I'm black. There's no denying that. So I don't feel the need to make that a part of my business.
Right, and I feel like when people just go out their way to say, hey, I'm a black business owner, it's almost like you are not accepting the fact that more of our people should be black business owners, because it wouldn't be so rare if more of our people were actually out there owning businesses. Like, you don't hear people saying, oh, this is a Jewish-owned business or a white-owned business or whatever the case may be. When you go to Walmart, you just go to Walmart. Like, you don't care who owns it. You know what I'm saying? So I think that we're really limiting ourselves when it comes to labeling things. And so I think if we step outside of that and just say, hey, like, I'm just a general business, especially for me, because, like I said, my services are for everybody, and same with you. So I don't want anybody to feel that you have to be black in order to come and get my services. That's definitely not the case.
Yeah, and I think when you do that and you offer something that's general, like your dad, he has an HVAC company. He doesn't need to advertise that he's a black business owner because he can service anybody. He can. So I feel like when you say that, like, oh, this is a black business, it's a black-owned business, it's like you're saying you only want to service that community. So you have to be very careful in how you advertise, how you market, and how you like strategically put out there your business. When you're telling people about your business, be mindful of your niche, you know, of the audience that you're talking to and who you're trying to reach. If you're not trying to just reach the black community, then I would not label myself a black business owner.
Correct.
I think people can see that. People are not blind. Like, you know,
I don't have to point that out.
I don't need to point out that I'm black.
And I don't, like I said, it should be a custom in our community for there to be black business owners. So I'm not going to label my business as a black-owned business. It should be something that we are used to seeing.
Ooh, that bee tried it.
That bee is a black-owned business.
But, you know, some of those stereotypes, what I thought about is, like, also when people are shouting from the rooftop that this is a black-owned business. Shoot, we don't have the best stereotypes associated with black-owned
we do not.
business.
First of all, time and promptness tends to be brought up a lot. Like like the other day, I went to an event, and it was a group of black-owned businesses that put it together, and the event was supposed to start at 7:30, and it ended up starting at like 8:15. So you have that, and then you also have, you know, the lack of quality. Also, sometimes
I think
in the black-owned businesses,
like
I've been to like black-owned beauty supply stores or black-owned stores, and they really don't have like as big of a stock, or you know, it's not as organized as other stores. And I just think that if people kind of put that aside from, okay, we're a black-owned business, this and that, you start to operate like the stereotypes that are. So hopefully you aren't doing that, and I'm trying to say it so that it's not offensive to anybody, but that's why I'm not labeling mine, because I'm doing things outside of the black-owned business stereotypes of my business.
Right. Yeah, I feel like that's just another limit that we place on ourselves.
It's
kind of like that, the flea in the jar. You know, even when you took the lid off the jar, they stopped jumping. So I feel like we label ourselves and think we can only go as far as our own community will allow us to go.
Correct.
But your options are limitless. And I think even with natural hair products, to be honest, there's Hispanic people, white people, you know, all kind of different races
with our texture hair,
who have our texture hair, or they might even want to use that kind of product on their skin, because a lot of the lotions and stuff out there aren't as natural as some of the natural hair products. So people, you know, want to use those for multi-purposes. So you have to be very mindful. I just think in general, like when you're starting a business, when you are a business owner, be very mindful about how you market yourself, how you present yourself, because, you know, most services and products these days are universal, and they could be marketed and they could be used by anybody. So why limit yourself? Why put that cap, you know what I'm saying, on your lid and say that you can't go outside of this community, or your services is just for people in this community? And there's nothing wrong with being black. I'm definitely proud and happy I am black. Obviously, if my hair doesn't say nothing else, it says I am black. And it's not something that I'm hiding, but I just feel like as business owners and as black people, sometimes we have a tendency to really limit ourselves and think that we can only go so far because of our race, and we have to really remove that.
Exactly.
We have to remove that, and we have to get past that, and that's the only way that we're going to make progress.
Yeah, and I believe that, you know, if you're out in the community, you know, sharing with other people of our, you know, in our community, you know, if you're promoting like, hey, you know, you need to be a business owner, you know, all the different stuff like that, let them see the examples of just being a general business. You know, I don't want, especially my children, to be like, oh yeah, they're a black business, or yeah, they're a black business. Like, no, business is business, period. It does not have a color.
I want my kids to just say, you know, my aunt or my mom, I want them to just say she's an entrepreneur. Yeah, like point blank, period. I don't want them to feel like they have to label me as a black entrepreneur, because what I'm stand for, what I'm doing, goes beyond my race. Right,
and it's also like, you know, when people graduate with their doctorate degree and they're black and they're like, oh my gosh, she's a black doctor. I'm like, but she's supposed to be a doctor.
Right,
like, you know, it doesn't matter what her race is. That's what she's supposed to be. And so I think once we get past that cap, our community would be so much more like accepting and more like, you know, growing with the fact that we do have the opportunity to be doctors. We do have the opportunity to be business owners. You know, we have the opportunity to be anything that we want to be.
We just have to remove that barrier that we placed. And it's in there because of something, that a mental block that we can't seem to get past, honestly.
Yeah, it's like everything has to be labeled, and it's just like, you know, I'm more of the, look, if you're a business, you're a business. I'm going to support you if you offer great customer service, if you are, you know, communication as well, period. I don't care what the owner, who the owner is. Business is business, and if you treat me like an amazing customer, I'm going to give you my money, period. I'm going to give you my money. And so I think that once we, like you said, once we get that cap off, this community will flourish. Completely. Really will. So my final thoughts are, when you are marketing yourself, just to make sure that, you know, you're not placing a limit on yourself, because once you do that, like, you're going to see that like plateau of where you'll stay. I know, for instance, we have like Oprah and Tyler Perry, like we mostly label them as, you know, her having her own black network and things like that, but they don't do that. You know, they just work. They work with everybody, and we as a community label them that way. So I just think that it's important that, you know, when you are building your business, if you are, you know, of a minority and things like that, just build your business just as if anybody else would. It doesn't have to be a minority-based business, or don't put that cap on yourself.
Yeah, I think that's exactly right. We don't have to put that label on ourselves or think that we can only service our community. Think about your audience in a general format, regardless of your race, and just think about who you can touch, who can benefit from what you're doing. And if you stay focused on that, and you stay focused on providing quality service and products to people, there's no way you're not going to excel and make it to the top. And obviously you got to put the work ethic in also, but
you got to do that part,
right? Yeah, that's important.
Do your part,
right? Do your part. Do your part,
right?
But I think if you do that and you take that cap off of yourself, like I said, the fleas who were in the jar with the cap and it came off and they stopped jumping. If you take that cap off of your self and stop limiting yourselves, your business will soar, and there will never be a plateau that you can't excel past.
And just remember, like, you have billions of people on this earth that you can reach. You know what I'm saying? So if your business is not specifically for one group of people, then just be free with it. Just be the best business owner that you can be for yourself, and not for a certain community or anything else. All right, so thank you all for watching, and we can't wait to see you all next Thursday. Bye.
That was awkward.
Yeah.
Let's try it again.
Alright.
I know. We about to be working with that. Girl, I don't know, Georgia. You the one who signed me up for this today. We're going to pray on it, Jesus. Okay.
So that's all for our topic today, and
let's continue the conversation in the comment section. We love to hear back from you guys about your opinions about labeling your business based on your race. Have you had any issues because your business is labeled a certain race? What have you seen in the community as an entrepreneur? And if you are starting a business and you're trying to figure out whether or not you should label your business, let us know in the comment section. We love to continue the conversation. And, you know, as always, we can't wait to talk to you guys again next Thursday.
Stay tuned.
Thanks for watching.
Hit that subscribe button.
Yes.
And like button. All right, so see you guys next Thursday.
Bye.